Hi everyone, it's Arlene. Just wanted to say thank you for stopping by and watching. Thank you for the new subscribers. I really appreciate that. So today's card is going to be made using the new Stampin' Up stamp set called Sea of Textures. I love this stamp set. When I saw it, I knew I had to have it. Not only is it about the sea and the beach, which we love to go to, we typically go up to the Oregon coast when we go on family vacations, but it also has these textures, these textured stamps here. And if you've looked at my past videos, you'll see that I'm not really one to use a lot of these. So I was really excited to get this so that I can actually kind of play around with it and think outside of my box a little bit more. So I'm using that stamp set. I'm also going to be using the Thinlits. This is called Under the Sea Framelit dies, and you can see that they correspond with, let me get it better so that glare's not there. So you can see that it corresponds with the stamp set itself too. So I'm using those. I'm also using the stamp pads that I have are Pool Party, the Highland Heather, the Calypso Coral, and the Soft Sea Foam, I believe it's called. The paper that I'm using is going to be the Highland Heather, and that is going to be the base of the card. I'm also using a Pool Party. So this is cut at just 1/8 of an inch smaller. So the Highland Heather is 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper cut in half and then scored down the middle. And then that makes your basic size A2 card. And then the Pool Party piece is cut at 5 3/8 by 4 1/4. And then I've got a smaller one here that is the Soft Sea Foam, and that is cut at 4 inches by 5 1/4. You see it goes right in there, it mats. Got some scraps of the Gray Granite and the Pear Pizzazz, and then Calypso Coral as well. And then I used those to cut out some of the Thinlits. And then I also have a piece of just a white cardstock that's going to go on the inside of the card. So let's go ahead and set the base of the card as well as the Pool Party. We'll set those pieces of cardstock aside, and we're going to be just working with the Soft Sea Foam today. Now what I want to start out with is using just a clear acrylic block. This is Stampin' Up size D, but you can really use just any size that you want that will go with the card that you're making. And then what I'm going to be doing is actually taking this, and I will take the Soft Sea Foam, and I'm going to basically be inking up my acrylic block right there. And since these are pretty new stamp pads, you're going to see a lot of ink. It's going to ink it up really well. Okay. And then you can see that it has transferred, that ink has transferred over to my block. And then the next step I want to do is just take some, like a little spritzer, and then you're going to just spray directly onto your block that has the ink. Maybe about 2 or 3 times really is all you need. And you can kind of see what it's doing there. It's got some water in there. And then just go directly onto your piece of paper, your cardstock. And I just like to make sure that it's the ink is really transferring over to the paper. And then try to lift straight up. That's pretty. Okay, so and every time you do it is a different look, so it's always unique. So that one I added a little bit more water than I had done previously, but I really like how it's how it turned out on that one. Okay, and then you would let this dry a little bit, and then I'm going to be using the same. Let me just wipe this off, and then I'm taking the, let's see, I want the Pool Party this time, and I'm just using that same technique. I'm going to ink up the acrylic block. Okay, now that's with the Pool Party, and the next step I'm going to do is take this Highland Heather stamp pad, and then I'm going to place the ink directly onto the acrylic block, but this time I just want the edges. I just want a little bit of that purple, that Highland Heather, to show when I stamp onto my cardstock. So I'm going around all 4 edges. Like that. So you see, let's just get kind of the edges there. Again, take my spritzer and then just spritz it a couple times. Maybe one more there. Okay. Okay, and then on that same piece of paper, and this time I'm going to go a little bit lower, a little bit more to the left, and do the same thing. And there you have, it's more of a washed look. Like that, it's the two. Now isn't that fun? I wanted to get the colors there that reminded me of more of the ocean feel. Plus I love the teal and the purples. Those are like my two favorite colors, so I wanted to incorporate those as well too. Okay, so then we're going to get to have some fun with the stamping. I'm taking this netting stamp right here, place it onto my acrylic block, and I think I'm going to take the Highland Heather, so this is in the purple, and I'm just going to stamp it up on the top right corner, and I think I'm going to stamp it a couple times. And let's see, maybe we'll do a little bit down here just to give it more of a texture look to it. Okay, and then we'll take this image right here and let's stamp that in. Let's go with that soft seafoam. Okay, so take the soft seafoam, and again I'm going to stamp on the bottom here, and then without re-inking it, I'm going to just stamp a few times. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay. Then with the same stamp set, this is kind of maybe a seaweed looking type of stamp. I think I'll take the pool party, and again just on the side, stamp a few times. Again on the bottom area, stamp a few times like that. Okay, so you've got a nice base going on here, just like that. This is a little saying, it says you're one of a kind. So have that, and then I'm going to use the Calypso Coral, and we'll just put that just right on the, as long as I have it, make sure it's on the, make sure it's the right direction, and that just says you're one of a kind here, and that's in the Calypso Coral. So I've taken the die cuts here, the thinlits, and what I've done is I've taken the netting. Now this, when I cut this out, is just gorgeous. I love that. This is with the gray granite. This is a new color. So I'm going to be placing that onto the card like this, and then I've also cut out some of the other thinlits I've used too for the coral, and then this like a seaweed type of thing here too. And I'm just going to lay that on. So let me go ahead and get that glued up, and I will be right back. Okay, now that we have those laid down, the next thing that I'm going to do, I've also cut out the little octopus, and that was with a piece of the pool party, and then I used the Highland Heather, and then I've used one of the thinlits to cut that out too as well. And then I just put a couple of little black rhinestones there. And then I'm going to take, I'm hoping that these will be small enough. If I can find them. Yeah, these are like the little minis. And I thought I can use some of these little mini Stampin' Dimensionals on the edges there of his arms. And hopefully I won't need too many because it looks like I'm running out. Okay, and then we'll take some of the bigger ones. So we're going to pop this guy up, give him some even more dimension. Okay, and let's just place him kind of right up there. There, just like that. Now, you can kind of see what I did. I didn't let it dry all the way, and it started to bleed a little bit. So that I was mentioned before, you want to really let this dry before, and that way it won't bleed. The ink that you put on over won't bleed like it's doing for me. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this all put together. Okay, like that. And then on the inside of the card, I have taken just a piece of white cardstock and cut it just a little bit smaller than the inside dimensions. Stamped one of the stamp sayings, and then in Calypso Coral I just use this image right here just to carry the theme throughout. And then that way it makes it a little bit easier to be able to write on that, write a little personal note if you wanted to inside there. Okay, and then you are all set and ready to go. This I thought was just a really fun card, and like I said, it's a little bit different for me, using different textures, as well as I love these corresponding thinlets that go with this particular stamp set. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.